Guillermo, are we ready?
We are ready.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our newest edition of the Drama. I'm your host, Alexa Mendez, and we have a special script for you tonight. This is a Pride Line FilmGate collaboration production for their upcoming short, Warrior. But before we begin, allow me to introduce the event for those who are unfamiliar, first time joining us. Why the Drama is how FilmGate has reimagined an actor-writer industry memberships meetup. Our mission is to craft, critique, and expand works and performances coming to South Florida. We invite special industry guests who are successful in media and film. They give us feedback and look to enhance the work of our creators who are prepping for their projects and to production. This is a bi-weekly, every other week event that features a read-through of screenplays and welcomes industry professionals to witness the talent Miami has to offer. So don't be shy and please submit. This is an initiative available to FilmGate members only. So you have to become a member, then we can read your script. You too can be a FilmGate member if you're curious or whatever. If you're thinking about it, don't think about it so much, just do it. Please visit filmgate.miami and click on memberships. And so that's that. So if you want to know more, just, reach out to us. We're always here. And now, please, everyone, help us welcome our creators for tonight. Mini clap, not a big one. Thank you. Tonight's script comes from the organization Pride Lines. Their mission is to support, educate, and empower South Florida's LGBTQ youth and community in a safe and diverse space to promote dialogue, muito importante, wellness, and to foster social change. And our writer, Marcus Higgins. Thank you so much for being with here. We have Shane Richards and Marcus Higgins from Pride Lines. So we really appreciate you guys coming on today. And I'm very happy to also have you guys, just saying. Anyway, FilmGate and Pride Line selected Florida director, Angelica Borland, give it up, who is to direct this short film and is also here with us tonight. Angelica is a past winner of our short film festival. So thank you again for being here with us. And our industry guests are two talented and successful professionals, and we are grateful for their time and support of FilmGate Miami. Brett Weiner is an award-winning writer-director originally from Boston. His short film, Verbatim, screened around the country, including Sundance, South by Southwest, and Telluride Film Festivals in 2014. He expanded the film into a web series in collaboration with the New York Times, and the latest episode, Verbatim, The Ferguson Case, was an official selection of the 2016 Sundance Film Festival. He has also directed projects for True TV, ABC Digital, Awesomeness TV, and Fullscreen, as well as created branded and viral content for national brands, including Hotels.com. I hope there's a discount somewhere in there. Tostitos, Skittles, Mike's Hard Lemonade, love that. Sony, Casio, Warner Brothers, and Fox Home Video. In 2017, he was selected as a fellow for the Sundance Directors and Screenwriters Labs for his upcoming feature, Social Justice Warrior. Thank you for being here.
Hi, everybody. Glad to be here.
Our second guest is Sandro Fiorin. Sandro is one of the founding partners of Figa Films. He has achieved the acknowledgement of this catalog in the world's main festivals and markets. His catalog is one of the boldest in the continent, with titles such as Verano de Goliath by Nicolas Pereda, the Horizonte Award winner at the Venice Film Festival in 2010, Los Viejos, 2011, A Floresta de Jonatas, A Floresta, from 2012, Untitled Project in 2013, Pelo Malo, also in 2013, winner of the Golden Shell in San Sebastián, Cinema Novo, 2016, by Eric Rocha. Best Documentary in Cannes, El Amparo from 2016. And a ciudad, forgive me for the accent, I don't speak Portuguese, a ciudad donde embelezo from 2016, among many others. So, thank you, Sandro, for being here with us tonight.
Thank you.
So, welcome to everybody, and thank you for your time. If you're tuning in, we're very happy that you are here. We love that you're here. Please come back. And of course, tonight, main event. Hello. We want to thank you again for being with us. I'm super appreciative. And next, I'm going to introduce our 12 characters, to which we have some awesome directors in the house tonight, giving us life and energy, pumping it up. Please say hello, however you want to say hello. You want to wave, you want to wink, do whatever. Say hello to the camera when I say your name. Andres Simonian will play the role of Luis. Hakeem Diamar will play the role of Amon. Kellyanne Jordan will play the role of Lina. Bo Blanchard will play the role of Pedro and the health department worker. Coco Valencia will play the role of Luis's mom. Kenya Chacon will play the role of the waitress, and Marcel. Guillermo Pacheco will play the role of stranger. Rosen T. Gordon will play the role of Warrior 1. Amelia Leon will play the role of Warrior 2. Me, your narrator, and Warrior 3. So now, without further ado, Warrior. Written by Marcus Higgins, Drop 5. Inside of the Pride Line Center waits Luis Garcia, 21, Latino, shy, and his best friend, Amon Lo. Black, 21, athletic, usually confident, but today he's nervous. Amon is biting his lips while taking in the center. He looks at the signage and all he can really see are the words HIV in big, bold letters. His fingers tap against his jeans as paranoia rumbles through his brains. This catches Luis's eye. Amon is usually eccentric, a jokester, and overly confident. Nervousness is out of his character.
You okay?
How long do you think it's gonna take?
An hour tops.
And you sure it's free?
Yes, for the 1000th time, it's free. We just have to fill out some forms, get tested, and from what I read, they get us in contact with the provider. That's it.
Bro, I'm nervous.
Well, you wouldn't have to be if you kept your legs closed.
Maybe if your ass wasn't so far in the closet, you would have been with more than 3 guys.
Okay, chill. You know how my family is.
Before a retort can leave Luis's lips, Pedro Zoco, Latino, 35, professional, enters the lobby holding a clipboard.
Luis Garcia.
Both boys get up to stand. Luis, because his name is called, and Amon, simply out of nerves.
One at a time, boys.
Yeah, Louis, one at a time.
Pedro's office, day. Inside Pedro's office, there's a computer, personal family photographs, and posters about sexual wellness on the walls. The scene bounces back and forth between the two boys. Both boys are being questioned by Pedro, who's filling out a form on a clipboard. Luis is calm, collected, while Amon's nerves are still troubling him.
Okay, and what is your date of birth?
Septiembre 22 del año 2000.
March 3rd, 2000.
Have you ever been tested for HIV, and if so, when was the last time?
Sí, trato de testearme cada 3 meses.
Every now and then. I think the last time was around last year.
Pedro administers the HIV finger prick test. Both boys are seen getting their fingers pricked.
Okay, now just hold that down for me. And within the last 12 months, have you had sex without a condom?
Sí.
Yeah, but I normally put one on.
Cut to Amon and Pedro. Amon fidgets.
I know I should probably get better at that. That's why I'm here, to get on PEP.
You mean PrEP. PEP is something completely different.
Wait, what?
PEP is given to people who may have been possibly exposed right after a high-risk encounter. It prevents them from contracting the virus. Now, PrEP, on the other hand, is a daily medicine that can greatly reduce the risk of HIV, and people get them confused all the time.
Okay, well, I'm definitely here for PrEP.
Pedro nods and finishes up the paperwork while Amon anxiously awaits the results of the test. After a couple of moments that feel like eons, Pedro takes one look at the test.
Negative.
Whew, thank God. How can I sign up for PrEP?
I'll get you started with a referral.
Pedro's
Okay.
office. Day.
Okay, Lewis. Your test is coming back reactive.
Luis is dumbfounded. The tectonic plates underneath his feet have shifted. The earth is no longer spinning as everything he has ever known is turned inside out. You can see his life shattering before his eyes as his mind absorbs Pedro's words. Pedro is continuously talking, but his words are a garbled mess.
Now, there is a confirmatory test I have to give you. All you have to do is swab your cheek, and we should have the confirmatory results in about a week.
Close up on Lewis. Outside of Amon's apartment complex, evening. Amon lives in an apartment complex in Brownsville. The boys are pulled over in Luis's car outside of Amon's. Luis's eyes are red from crying. Amon is in the passenger seat, searching for words to say.
I'm sorry, man.
It's my fault. I fucked up.
No, this could happen to anyone. Don't be so hard on yourself. I got you, Lou. I have to get inside to give Amir his breathing treatment. Thanks for the ride.
Amon gives Luis a hug before exiting the car.
Text me when you make it home, okay?
Outside of the Garcia family home, the Garcias live in a modest neighborhood, in a home, an average middle-class home. Garcia family home. Luis's room, night. Luis is in his room with the lights off. The light from his phone illuminates the dark room. He is looking at his text message thread. He writes, "I'm home," and it's left unread by Amon. His room is that of a typical 20-year-old's room, sprinkled with stray clothes, movie posters, and books teetering on the borderline of adulthood and adolescence. Luis's mother bangs on the outside of the door, startling him.
Luis José García, tú has estado todo el día sin hacer nada de lo que yo te pedí. ¿Ah? Te dije que fueras a CVS y recogieras las cosas de tu papá, la medicina, y que también fueras a llevar a tus hermanas a las compras para la fiesta de quinceañera de Miranda. Luis José, Dios mío, ¿cuándo es que vas a crecer y vas a ser el hijo que necesita esta familia, el hombre de la casa?
Nagging is the last thing Luis needs. He rolls over in bed and screams into a pillow. He receives an email from Pridelines. "Thank you for joining Pridelines." This leads Luis to the website, and he browses through the main page. The paragraph that mentions the center providing a safe environment for LGBTQ people lingers on him for a bit. Park, afternoon, 4 days later. Luis is sitting on a picnic blanket at a waterfront park that overlooks Miami skyline. He has his Bluetooth speaker, snacks, a book, and his iPad. His phone starts vibrating. It's from a number he doesn't recognize. Luis stares at his phone for a few minutes before he decides to answer.
Hello?
Hello, this is Brian Diaz with the Miami-Dade County Health Department. Is Luis Garcia available?
Yes.
Okay, I just need to verify that I'm speaking to Mr. Garcia. Can you state your date of birth, please?
September 22nd, 2000.
Mr. Garcia, we've been trying to get in contact you in regards to your...
Luis disconnects the call and sighs deeply. He opens his text message thread with Amon. In the thread, we see a series of messages from Luis to Amon, but no responses from Amon. Inside of stranger's apartment, Amon swipes money off of a dresser and then sits on the edge of a stranger's bed. Hispanic, 40. Bed reading the text message. He starts typing something, but he sighs and erases it. Before he can write anything else, the stranger starts to kiss his neck.
Ready for another round?
Amon locks his phone and tosses it back on the bed. Park, afternoon. Luis unlocks his tablet and goes to Google and uses an incognito window. He looks over his shoulder suspiciously before typing in a search. He types in living with HIV, scrolls through the webpage for a few seconds and closes it. It's too much for him. Luis receives a phone call. He hopes it's Amon, but it's his mother. He ignores the call. He opens a new tab and finds himself back at the Pride Lines website. He reads the paragraph about being in a safe place. Outside of Pride Lines, evening. Luis is outside of Pride Lines after regular business hours. He's hesitant on entering, sighs, and opens the door. Inside of Pride Lines, evening. The furniture that was there the other day has been pushed to the side. On the open floor, the members of the House of Warrior are voguing, strutting, and kikiing. Nina Paul, 23, black, gorgeous hair, notices him and approaches.
Hi, can I help you? Hi, can I help you?
Please. Andres? Andres, can you hear me?
Did you guys hear me okay?
I could hear you, Kelly.
Okay.
Can you check the address to see where he's at?
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Who's that? Okay, yes, he's there.
All right, I'm back. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
Cool. Take it from the top, Alexa.
The furniture that was there the other day has been pushed to the side. On the open floor, the members of the House of Warrior are voguing, strutting, and kikiing. Nina Paul, 23, black, gorgeous hair, notices him and approaches.
Hey, can I help you?
I'm just watching.
Nina?
I'm not hearing him respond. Is he responding?
Yeah. Hi, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello, hello.
He's talking to you now.
Okay, I don't hear anything. That's why. I can hear you.
I don't hear anything either.
You guys can't hear me?
Me neither. I don't hear anything.
That's
I
so
can
weird.
hear you.
I can hear you.
That's so weird.
Could hear every.
Oh.
Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Great.
Okay, I'm gonna
Um,
disconnect and connect again. What about now? Can anybody hear me now?
I could hear you.
I can hear you.
Yeah.
Nina?
Me too.
Nina, can you hear me? No.
Kellyanne, could you also disconnect really quick and come back in? I'm just gonna do that soon.
From the whole thing, or just go on mute?
No, disconnect and come back into Discord.
Okay.
All right,
I think I know
I'm
how
back.
to do that.
Can you hear me? Anybody?
Yes.
This sucks.
Andres, try talking now. Kelly, can you hear Andres?
Hello, hello.
Yes, I can.
There it is.
I can hear him now. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
No, it's all good.
Hey, can I help you?
I'm just watching.
Are you a spy? I know the House of Eves likes to get in our tea.
What? No, I'm just here because is Pedro still here?
No, he left not too long ago.
Oh. Well, I'll come back tomorrow. Not sure why I came this late anyway.
Wait, what's your name? I can leave him a message for you.
Nah, it's fine. You don't have to do that.
Well, you don't have to go. You can stay and watch us practice. I'm Nina.
Lewis. You're muted, host. You're muted. We can all just read.
Sorry. Very sorry. Nina joins rehearsal and Luis watches from the sidelines. Luis is taking it all in, their sense of family, community, and love for one another. He is temporarily distracted from his own troubles. Outside of Pride Lines, night. Rehearsal is over, and the House of Warrior exit Pride Lines through the side door. A few of them are heard laughing and kikiing among themselves as they spill out. Nina and Luis are already outside, engaged in conversation. House of Warrior member number 1, Black. House Warrior member number 2, Hispanic. And House of Warrior member number 3, Afro-Latino. Stop to gawk at them.
Nina tries to be so damn slick.
Girl, she really do.
What are y'all talking about?
The 3 House members look at Luis, Nina, and then look at themselves and giggle.
You're not gonna introduce us to your cute friend? Papi chulo. Hola, mi nombre es Asesine.
Luis, these are my nosy brothers and sisters. Nosy brothers and sisters, this is Luis.
Luis waves at them, smiling. Oh, so it's like that now?
Child, she found her a butch queen and don't know how to act. Let her handle her business. I'm sure she'll give us all the tea later.
Adios, mijo.
You guys are so childish. Text me when you get home. Don't mind them.
It's all good. They seem like a lot of fun.
I'm not sure if fun is the word I'd use.
Luis laughs. There's a short, awkward silence that fills the space between them. Luis doesn't want to go home. You feel the lingering desire of not wanting the night to end, but being too afraid to say something else.
Well, thanks for letting me watch you guys practice. I should probably get going now. It was really nice to meet you.
It was nice meeting you too.
Luis walks hesitantly to his car. Nina begins to request a lift. Luis turns back around.
Wait, did you need a ride?
I'm fine. I'm calling a lift.
I really don't mind. I mean, I'm not trying to go straight home anyway.
That makes two of us.
Hungry?
I am if you're paying.
Diner, night. Luis and Nina are at a diner sitting across from each other, engaged in conversation with food laid across the table. A waitress, black, friendly, older, waltzes around the restaurant, catering to the late night patrons.
So what was it you guys were rehearsing for tonight? A ball?
No. The boys were offered an opportunity to be featured in a campaign for So Intimate.
So intimate?
Yeah, it's a men's lingerie line. Now, they've had their eye on our house since we stormed the Stigma free ball. They'll be shooting at Pride Line sometime next week.
Oh wow, that's dope. I don't know too much about the ballroom scene other than what I've seen on TV, really.
I like to think of ballroom as a secret society for us who aren't always accepted. It's family, passion, the place for us to lift each other up, but also to tear each other apart to the beat. There are different categories that a person can walk. I do runway, performance, and realness.
Wow, I don't know what any of that means.
I can teach you.
Well, what categories would somebody like me walk?
That depends on your skill set. Right now, you're giving me butch queen realness. You got that Puerto Rican poppy thing going on.
Waitress?
Can I get y'all anything else?
No, thank you.
I'll have triple thick cookies and cream milkshake.
Got it. You sure you don't want anything, young man?
No, I'm good. Thanks. Hey, what you know about the triple thick cookies and cream shake?
What? It's the best thing on the menu.
Me and my best friend used to order it all the time. It was kind of our thing.
What happened?
It's a long story.
Amon's room, night. Amon's room is much cleaner than Luis's. It's more adult. There's art on the walls and framed photographs. He's sitting on his bed with Luis's text message thread. He doesn't know what to type, and it frustrates him. Diner, night. Time lapse. The diner empties as the two continue to talk. Time is lapsing. Rowdy club goers enter, sit, eat, and leave while the two get to know one another. At one point, Nina's hand reaches across the table, and it's an empathetic, I've been there before too, kind of touch. Nina listens as he pours his heart out. The waitress comes and takes what's remaining on the table.
Sorry, I didn't mean to put all of that on you.
It's fine. And sometimes we all just need an ear.
Really?
Yeah. I was born with HIV.
Diner parking lot, night. The waitress flips the sign on the front door to closed. Outside of the diner, Luis and Nina sit on his trunk and engage in conversation. It's late, and there's only a few cars in the lot.
My mother had a serious drug problem. So when my father requested full custody of me, the courts handed me over with no issue. As a little girl living with HIV in a small ass country town, my tea traveled fast. Adults never said anything to my face, but you know those lingering looks old folks like to give when they feel sorry for you? I got one of those every single day. I was known in the town as Angela's baby. The saddest part is I never thought anything of it. You know, my dad, he always said that some kids have asthma, some kids are diabetic, and some kids have HIV, which is true. But once I got old enough to understand when I could never keep friends or why people were giving me the side eye, I realized that he would just tell me that to protect me, to make me feel like a normal kid. And packing our shit and moving down to Miami is the best thing my father has ever done for us. If we hadn't moved, I would never have met Marcel or the rest of my family.
Marcel?
My house father.
A small silence swifts between them.
Speaking of Marcel, I think you should meet him. He's Pedro's husband. And he's the one you go to if you ever need a mental health check. Whenever you feel yourself falling off, he's going to get you together. He has a way of knowing what you need before you do. He taught me how to be a warrior, as cheesy as it sounds.
Close up on Luis. Pride Lines, evening. Luis enters another House of Warrior practice. House of Warrior members 1, 2, and 3 walk up to him and greet him again. While Marcel Woodard, 34, black, trans man, is seen coming down the stairs.
¿Y cómo te fue tu cita con Nina esa noche?
No fue una cita.
I can't hear Luis.
Can you hear me? Hello? No?
No,
I can
Okay.
hear you.
I could hear
I
you.
can.
Okay.
I was having that same problem earlier.
Okay,
so
I'm gonna assume
I
that
did, it was
Luis
like
already spoke, so I'm just gonna speak.
you do was like refresh the page because when I did that,
Ciao.
then I was able to
He's
hear
saying
people.
it wasn't a date.
Can you hear me now?
Go ahead, number
Luis.
2.
Can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Andres, I can hear you. Go
I can
ahead,
hear you.
Luis.
I can hear you.
All right. Luis.
Luis
Nice to
extends a
finally-
hand out, but Marcel opts for a hug.
Nice to finally meet you. Nina's told me a lot about you. You've met a few of my kids. I'm not giving Luis a hard time, are you?
Frozen?
Oh, sorry. I was having trouble hearing people. So, like, yeah, sorry about that. Can the last person repeat?
Can you?
Be careful with them. A shady bunch. Anyway, have time to chat?
No, wait, can you go back? Can you read the line that you read before?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes?
Read the "Nice to finally meet you" so that the warrior member number 1. Right or no?
Yeah.
Hello.
Kenya, can you hear us?
Can hear you now.
Great. Okay. Can you start from "Nice to finally meet you"?
Yes. Nice to finally meet you. Nina's told me a lot about you. See, you've met a few of my kids. I'm not giving Luis a hard time, are you?
No, why would you think that?
Yeah, it's nice to meet you guys too.
Be careful with them. They're a shady bunch. Anyway, time to chat.
Inside of the youth lounge, evening. Inside the youth lounge, there's a couch, a few tables, and a giant poster with handwritten messages from members of the Pride Lines community. Luis sits directly in front of the poster while Marcel sits opposite him.
How are you?
I'm okay.
You're really okay?
I guess.
Look, I don't know you, but typically when one of my kids are asking me to meet someone privately, it's normally for a good reason. I can't help you if you don't let me.
I don't know where to start.
Luis sighs.
I don't know where to start.
Say whatever's on your mind.
Luis is still stuck. The uncertainty and fear is on his face. The camera focuses on that and then back at Marcel, who is unmoving, stoic, and zoning his full attention on Luis.
Pretend you're looking into a mirror or journaling. What would you say to yourself?
2 weeks ago, I found out I was.
I understand.
I found out It's all that I think about. From the second that I get up in the morning to the moment I fall asleep, I feel like my life is ending. Ever since I was a kid, I've been trying to be perfect. I get good grades, I go to church, I take care of my mom, my dad, my sisters, and I try to live up to this image of what a Garcia man should be, and I feel like I keep failing them no matter what I do, no matter how hard I try. My grades aren't high enough, my room isn't clean enough, my Spanish isn't perfect enough, and it's bad enough they don't know I'm gay. But once they find out this, I haven't even been able to go to the follow-up appointment. I'm scared. Thank you. You'd think my best friend would have my back during this. But he went ghost after I told him my result. So I don't have him, and I just feel like I'm going through this alone. And you hear all these things about it not being a death sentence anymore, and you think you'll be okay with it because it's not like we're living in the 80s, right? But I can't help it. I feel like I failed.
You feel that way because you're conditioned to. There are plenty of people with HIV living healthy lives. A lot of that fear that's festering inside of you is caused by stigma. It stems from homophobia. You know what our brothers before you would have done to be in your shoes right now? Have modern medicine at your side? It's no different than taking a pill for diabetes every morning or taking a daily vitamin. The only people that die from this virus are the ones who don't seek treatment. I don't want to come off as too preachy. I want you to understand that that's what's happening to you. Doesn't make you a failure. Living up to your parents' expectations for your life doesn't make you a failure. The only thing that makes you a failure is if you walk out of this room and never look back. You've only failed one person who matters. Yourself.
During Marcel's monologue, the camera focuses on Luis and Marcel. Luis is absorbing his words, feeling the passion of Marcel's words. Luis wipes his face and perks up.
If I reschedule my appointment, do you think that you and Nina can come with me?
Absolutely.
Diner, afternoon. Luis, Marcel, and Nina are all gathered around a table at the local diner. Nina is eating fries while Marcel digs into a salad and Luis sips a shake. It's about midday, but not too busy. The vibe is lighter. Luis seems happier.
So, it's been a couple of days. Have you been remembering to take your meds?
Yeah, thanks to Nina texting me at the crack of dawn every morning to remind me. So
You're giving me very much ungrateful right now.
oh, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Okay, you know I appreciate it.
Any side effects?
No, I mean every now and then I get a little nauseous, but it's not too bad though.
That'll eventually go away. What about things at home?
Same old, same old. You know, I actually found out that one of my sisters has been attending GSA meetings at her school, which is interesting. She's always been brave.
Oh, you didn't tell me that. Okay, little sis. Did your homeboy ever hit you back?
Not yet. I'm not sure he knows what to say, and I'm not even sure what I want to say to him at this point.
Sadly, some people don't know how to react to these types of things.
Yeah. Well, I'm not too pressed about it.
And that's on.
Mary had a little lamb.
Luis's room, evening. Luis and Nina are in Luis's room. It's cleaner than when we previously seen it.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe your mom didn't clock me.
You saw that smile on her face? You're the first girl I brought home. She's probably on her knees right now thanking God.
Nina sachets around his room, touching things, inspecting books, looking at posters and photographs.
I got you something.
What?
You put your pills in here and attach it to your keys. Now I don't have to text you every morning.
Thank you so much. All right. The sooner you teach me how to walk, the sooner we'll start shutting the categories down. Okay?
Period. Can you dance? Because you know the butch queens in Miami know how to move.
Bachata.
Nina turns on Vogue music from her phone. Vogue music plays.
Well, welcome to Ballroom 101. Tonight we'll focus on the 5 elements of Vogue: catwalk, hands, spins and dips, duck walks, and floor performance. If you're going to be part of the warrior family, we have a lot of work to do.
So I'm family now?
You're family the second you walk through that door.
They continue practicing, both laughing at each other. In this moment, the two are happy. Luis's mother bangs on the outside of the door. She's not seen on screen.
Luis.
Luis nervously signals Nina to turn the music down as he opens his bedroom to find Amon nervously smiling with 2 milkshakes from their favorite diner in hand.
Triple thick cookies and cream shake.
Fade to black. The end.
Wonderful, 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 wonderful. Well, there was some roadblocks. Remember, everybody, to avoid these troubles. The app is the best option. And right now, we will go into the feedback portion of our two very special guests. Will provide gentle and constructive insights to the script. Sandro, Brett, whoever would like to start, take it away.
I'm happy to start talking about everything if people want me to. Cool. Well, first off, yes, round of applause for the writing, round of applause for all the actors in this. Very difficult environment, obviously, to be in. You guys did an amazing job, so that was very, very fun to watch. Okay, now here's the fun part. I need to find Marquis is the writer, right? I want to talk with him a little bit about, and sort of the way I like to structure this, and Sandra obviously jump in anytime, is kind of have, kind of like a bit of a rolling conversation about what it is, and my general caveats apply. Like once I start talking about stuff, like some of my ideas might make it like more Brett than more you, and part of your process should be kicking my ideas around or kicking my ideas totally out and being like, that's super wrong, I'll never do that thing, which is great. And then correct me, oh, there you are, hi. And then Angelica is directing, right? Is that right? So you're there too, so we can also chat about that stuff too. So I'll talk about some of the stuff I really love, and then I have a couple questions, and then I'll stop chatting for a second so I don't monopolize. But listen, I love the setting, I love the characters, I love the stories, I love the amount of humanity that I see in this thing, and I think that's all great. And sort of where I like to start in terms of like talking about it is like from the very general and then gradually get more specific. So I'm interested in both the writer and director, like what are your kind of inspirations in terms of other media out there that you feel like you inspire you to kind of make something like this? I think you're on mute. I can't hear you.
You are on mute, Marcus.
Can you hear me now?
There you go. Now I can hear you.
Okay. I was inspired by, well, I was given an assignment and I took inspiration from Pose, but I tried not to take too much from Pose because I didn't want it to seem like a copy, but I don't know. I'm really nervous. I'm sorry.
No. You said this was like your first time doing something like this in an environment like this, right?
Yeah, because usually I write fiction. Like I write fiction,
Gotcha.
as you can tell with my lengthy descriptions and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I took a lot of inspiration from Pose and just people that I know who have, the virus and things of that nature.
Gotcha. And by the way, congratulations on doing that and being in this environment. I know it's super stressful, but this shouldn't be stressful. This should be fun.
Thank you.
And then Angelica, do you have kind of like, in terms of directing styles, sort of things that you look at to be like, these are my inspiration, or things that other filmmakers that inspire you, or shows or anything?
Yeah, so I think as a director, since my brain works as a DP, I already think of, shots, how I want things shot. My personal style is more very intimate, extreme close-up. So when I read scripts, I try to find ways that I can, instead of just showing the scene from back here, how can I go in and show these little snippets of like how the character's feeling internally through visuals. So that's kind of how my mind's working right now when reading.
Cool. And then I just have one more question, then I'll be quiet for a second. I'm interested in terms of, what, and I think it's pretty clear to me at least, but it's nice to hear it from you, like the entire theme of the piece, like the thing behind the piece, because obviously you have a passion for this, and I'm interested in what you feel the theme that the piece is trying to express is.
Are you asking me or her?
Yeah, I'm asking you.
Okay. Just being brave and, not wanting to do something, but you have to do, and that's what I felt like that's what I wanted to show, like Lewis's reluctance to getting treatment, but then also, you know, going to get the treatment and then him finding a family and then also something that I know needs a little bit work is what to do with Amon. My whole thing with Amon was him struggling to be there for his friend. I don't really know if I conveyed that well.
Mhm.
But it's just basically overcoming obstacles and becoming a warrior.
Cool. Yeah, I think that's totally there. I mean, when I was writing, I like this idea of, like a controlling idea or a theme, like one clear sentence that says what the piece is trying to express. And I totally get the overcoming obstacles. For me, I when I was sort of listening to this, I wrote down acceptance is healing. Like Louise is looking for acceptance and he finds it in kind of a new chosen family that's kind of coming up. And I thought that was like very awesome and clear and stuff in there. And I can talk about the amount stuff, but I've talked enough already. I'll turn over just to Sandra if you want to chat for a second.
I don't know if I have much to say. I mean, it's something that I lived through the late 80s and throughout the 90s when I was in New York, both, with the HIV and the Vogue thing. And this is like 33 years ago, and it's going around, and being shown as something new, should never be forgotten, and I'm glad someone's still doing stuff about it. But it just feels a kind of like a rehashing of something I've lived when I was young, and I was part of ACT UP and all of that. Maybe I'm just a little too old to be enamored again about something like this. But it's really lovely, and I'm really appreciative that you guys are putting so much effort. It should definitely be retold. It's like the Holocaust, it's the story keeps repeating itself. But yeah, I'm a bit too foreign for this kind of thing, particularly since the kind of cinema that I work with is so completely different from the American style. Everything seems a little too jaded and hokey and a little forced and cutesy, and it's just doesn't really grab me because I see it coming. Every character is almost like an icon. The mother is a stereotype, and so is the friend, and everyone is like trying so hard to be part of it. Again, I'm not being critical towards this piece. It's just a general way of American filmmaking and telling that I'm not compatible with. But I love it. I really enjoyed it, and I'm glad I'm part of it, and it's a really new experience for me. That's all I have to say.
Hey, Sandra, can I ask you what are some kind of international films that are like good references to give a sense of your sensibility? It's just interesting for me.
Sure, absolutely. I'm really proud of a particular short that is available. It's a Vimeo staff picks, and it's somewhere else, but I'll send it to Dilian and Guillermo for you guys to watch it. It's a short film that we had in Cannes, and it won the Queer Palm. It is about a gay, very young black kid from the outskirts. It's called The Orphan, and that I think it's a good way for you guys to understand where I come from, what moves me, the kind of filmmaking, how subtle it is, without being hammered. I mean, there's one professional actress in the film, and everyone else is non-professional, but they all gel in so well. And when she's on screen, she's so mesmerizing. The kind of depth and experience in her eyes, trying to tell this young kid who's being returned for the third time because no family wants a black gay kid as an adopted one. Once they discovered he's gay, besides being black and all of that, they send him back to the orphan. And it's heartbroken. It's a true story also. So I'll send you guys that, and I think that it will give a little bit of excuse from my limited point of view. But that's the kind of film that I react, and I think international audiences as well. I mean, this will definitely be very perfect for America, and festivals here, but I don't think will translate too well. It's just too closed in its own little environment. Yeah, I'll take care of sending the link for the orphan, and if you guys want to get back to me and talk more about it, I'll be happy to. Cool.
Yeah. If I have a couple more kind of things to chat about, unless you want to talk to Sandra about his stuff, you guys can kind of drive the convo. Okay, so I'm gonna go back for a second to the theme of overcoming obstacles. One thing that I really like in terms of storytelling is you have that strong kind of idea behind it, and then you have the character has a flaw that has a problem with him embracing that idea, which I feel like you have. Like to me, and I don't know if this is exactly right, but it's Louise can't be vulnerable. Like he can't even say that he's positive out loud, right? So he has to kind of, it's pretty classic, accept himself before he's able to be accepted by other people. And I think that kind of makes sense. And is that, I just need to check in with you guys if I'm going in the right direction here, if that's kind of what you're intending and stuff.
Yeah, it's like, pulling teeth, like he's pulling his own teeth to get to where he has to go. It's a common struggle with people that have HIV or have been diagnosed to like, you know, try to, I don't know how to explain it. Like it's an obstacle for them. So yeah.
Sure. Yeah, totally. And I think it's like a very human thing to have that like cognitive dissonance of like, here's the thing I can't admit to myself. I think people do it all the time, and you kind of externalize that with the virus, which makes a lot of sense to me. I think, one of the things that you mentioned before was the Aman character and the relationship between the two characters. Because when this started, I thought this was going to be like a two-hander between the two of him. And basically there's that first scene and Aman goes away and then he kind of comes back at the end, right? And so I'd love to hear from you kind of, how you're thinking about that character and what you're trying to do in that with the story in that space, because that'll influence kind of like, I'm trying to have my advice be constructive in the direction you want to go in, right? I just don't want to like throw out random stuff.
I get it. Well, I wanted him to also, because it's also a journey for your friends when you become infected, and because not all of your friends are educated on it. There's a lot of stigma going around about it, and I just wanted to show that he was struggling with accepting it and trying to be there for him because he didn't know how, because he knows like, it's like the Grim Reaper has come to town. So I just wanted to kind of like show that somehow at the end he came to talk to him, or he came to like, mend their friendship, or he did his research. Yeah, so I just wanted to show that he was struggling as well.
Totally.
Yeah.
I think the piece I'm missing there is there's two things. One is that when you said like he did his research or he did a thing, like something happened that had him on come back, right? And we don't necessarily see that thing. And this doesn't necessarily have to be a Mon story. We don't have to see that thing, but I think at least some part of that has to go in. Another way to maybe approach it is if there is a scene between Louise and Amon before kind of like they come back together as friends scene. I mean, it all depends what you want to do, right? Like, what is there a way for them to actually connect? Where, does Amon shun him in person? Is there some conversation where they're not friends anymore? Is something you want to show their friendship dissolving over this? Or do you want to show their friendship having that crack and coming back together? I think those are all kind of interesting options that you might give you something to hook into that. Because the thing looking at it now is you have Amon kind of disappears from his friend and then comes back with like a peace offering, but Amon really was kind of shitty, right? And there's no repercussions in any sort for his behavior. So I think you know, having characters confront that sort of stuff becomes like the most interesting, kind of like brings you to the core of that kind of thing.
Yeah, can I chime in real quick? I think just piggybacking off of that, I think that was something that I felt was kind of missing as I was reading it. Like you want to know more about this, like a confrontation between Lewis and Amon, right? Like you want to see him be like, "Yo, what the fuck," you know? And Amon like that fight, so that then they can get back together. Because the way it happens, it's like he gets like kind of ghosted, which is not as interesting, you know, as like an actual conflict, right? So I agree wholeheartedly with what he said about that. Like maybe that's what's missing. Maybe.
Sure. And again, take it or leave it. Let me know what you think. You know.
No, I definitely like, appreciate that feedback. My struggle was like, you know, this is my first short film, and I didn't know how long it could be, so I was kind of like, I don't know how long to make it. So, but yeah, I definitely wanted to add more of Amon. So I definitely appreciate your feedback, both
Well,
of you.
can I ask, just in terms of logistics, because this, I mean, you have Angelica's directing, and do you have a plan to make it? Is it like about to go into production? Do you have a budget? You don't have to share the numbers or anything. I'm just curious where you are in the process.
I'm not entirely sure. Shane would probably know more than.
Let me jump in here. Hi everyone, my name is Shane. So the way that this works is pretty much we do have a budget. I really wish I remember the exact figure. I honestly don't right now. There is a budget, and the way that we're actually able to pay for this is because we actually have a grant that requires us to do a campaign on a yearly basis. So this year we decided to do a short film. I believe it's $40,000. And I don't want to miss any parts of your question.
It was just asking where this is in kind of the process. So my
Right.
feedback can be helpful to get there. Like if you're shooting next week or something, my advice might be slightly different as to, you know, it's like you got a couple months to kind of figure it out.
Oh, absolutely. So we decided that we're gonna collaborate with FilmGate. They're actually gonna help us with the whole production of it. Eventually it will be casted, filmed, and put together as a short film.
Cool.
Just to give us, just to completely drive it home, we're producing for Pride Lines. We do have the budget, and we're aiming to shoot in May.
Great. Awesome. So my suggestion in terms of length and stuff, I mean, there's a whole other conversation we could have about like, is this going to festival? Like where it's going kind of depends on how long it is. I mean, right now it's about as long as TV show, which is long for a short film. And then having made a ton of short films, my suggestion is always like cut whatever you can, truncate everything, see how many scenes you can combine into one scene, and do it just to stretch those resources as far as you can stretch them, because it's always a challenge to kind of get this stuff done. That I know it's pretty non-specific, but take that for what it is. I think
Brett, do you have any suggestions on where you would actually, because you're right, we need to get shorter, not longer. So do you have any suggestions on where maybe you would, if you feel that it can maybe shorten?
I do.
Okay, great.
I do.
Go.
I do. You know, there's different levels of this kind of stuff, but in terms of like, there's like the real hack and slash, which is so always painful because I've done it to myself. I think something you may want to look at as kind of an example is if you're looking on like page 18, the diner scene, you kind of have Louise have the scene with Marcel and kind of like have that admission. And then that next scene is basically, hey, you know, here's kind of the aftermath of all this stuff, which I don't think you need. I think we understand that he's going to get the medicine and do his thing. And that might even be a place for like the Amon thing. And you know, having Nina have a reference to be like, hey, I got you like this tube for your pills is enough. for the audience to understand, okay, he's taking his medicine now. He understands like what this is. So that's an example. And then I would just say whatever scenes you can kind of combine, I would do that too. I had another like really specific scene work thing that came out to me that I'm interested in your guys' opinion on, which was there's a scene with Nina in the diner, right? And at the end of that scene, he says, long story. And then you cut back and he's explained kind of what's happened. Now, later on in the script, you have him with Marcel, and he can't even say the words that he's positive. So to me, any time that he's relaying this story and you see him relaying that story is him confronting his flaw, that he can't be vulnerable, that he can't admit to himself that he has this disease, right? So, you know, you cut around that in that diner scene. And I'm like, would be interesting if like you go right there and see that moment of vulnerability, you know? And it's different admitting it to Nina than it is admitting it to kind of Marcel, who's kind of a mentor, authority figure. I think the other interesting thing you guys might want to think about in terms of scene work in that scene is, you know, if you have the whole conversation, they're getting along great. Louise has this admission. The audience is going to think, okay, Nina's going to like give him some resources, do a thing. But if Nina says back, I had it since I was born, then you kind of have a 1-2 punch right there of the audience being like, oh, in that short sentence, this character completely understands what this other character is going through. And maybe that's the point that you can transition to Amon, kind of looking at his texts, and then go back to the scene outside. So that was a suggestion in terms of scene work that I know that's like super specific, but I just thought that might be something interesting to think about.
No, I appreciate it.
I think even getting more specific. So as you're going into production on stuff, and you said you have a fiction background, which is super awesome. I think like some of your descriptions, I feel like the more specific you can make them, because everybody's going to go to you, and everybody's going to go to Angelica and be like, what do you mean by an average home? What does that mean? And the more you can be super clear about that stuff, like an average middle-class home, his room is that of a typical 20-year-old's room. The more you're specific rather than kind of a little bit more generic, the easier your life is going to be when your art person comes to you and is like, this is what an average 20-year-old room is like. And you're like, well, we had different ideas about what that actually looks like. So I feel like going through your descriptions and looking at that would be an interesting thing. And then I had a question for Angelica in terms of that first scene where they're getting the tests done. How were you thinking of filming that? Because right now it's kind of like the dialogue is side by side, and is it? I was a little unclear whether it was split screen or whether it was cutting back and forth or how it was working.
I think initially, since I honestly saw it as a split screen and them answering at the same time, that was my initial thought. What about you, Marquise? What did you kind of visualize for that? Did you want it split screen, or did you want them to have their separate answers?
When I originally wrote it, I wrote it as split screen, but I took it out because I wanted it to be, you know, up to your interpretation. But my initial vision was like a split screen or like make a back and forth.
I mean, you guys are on the same page, which is awesome. So just do that, write it in there, and have it be split screen and have it be at the same time. Like the more clearly you express your vision in that stuff, I think the easier it's going to be for when all these people come on and start asking you a million questions.
Another thing that I struggled with was, you know, since I'm the writer, I don't know how much is the writer's job and how much is the director's job. So like that's what.
Sure. I'm a writer director. So when I write, I think it's your opportunity when as a writer to create the mental picture in everybody's mind of what exactly you want this thing to be. And then Angelica will come in and be like, I don't want to do this. I want to do this. And you guys can have a conversation about it and figure it out. So I think the clearer, the more specific, it's totally fine for you to do that stuff. I think like you're sharing your cinematic vision with how you want this to be with everybody.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, Angelica, speaking of like cinematic vision, I know you have a specific kind of shooting style. Are there any movies out there that you look at and you're like, I want it to look like that movie, or I want it to look like pieces of that movie?
One movie that comes to mind is The Florida Project, and just how like raw it is. And I think similarly, I would like to portray Warrior as this with not the similar rawness, but like that kind of same rawness style to it. So that's kind of what the initial movie that I thought of.
Totally. I think there's something when you said that came to my mind. Have you seen Never, Rarely, Sometimes, Always?
No, I haven't. I'll write that down.
I'd recommend you check out that and Eliza Hittman's work. It's pretty incredible. So, and it might be in the zone also of what you're looking like, because the more of these kind of references you put together, I think will help everybody. It seems like you guys are actually on the same page, which is awesome. So, I think also in terms of that kind of style, one thing that might be interesting for you, Marquise, is to go through it and do kind of like just the less is more pass and see like, okay, how much can I actually take out of this in terms of the dialogue, but still have it read as making sense? Because, I think, and listen, there's a lot of important information in there, but I think the audience is going to get it. The audience is going to know what's going on and how these people are feeling. And sometimes you might not need extra lines, and sometimes you might just need a reaction shot or something. And that's obviously something you can work on with Angelica. And then obviously, like, you guys communicating, this is what I always do with my cinematographers, like communicating with movies and being like, have it be that feel, have it be that feel, can inform, this process of, I always like to feel filmmaking is like an ever evolving, not like script and then you shoot the script and then you edit. It's always like kind of an amorphous blob of like what's going to be the best, most affecting thing to kind of get the viewer in there. And then, yeah, sorry, do you want to say something?
Oh, I was just gonna hop off what you were saying about the less is more, and I think I really agree with what you were saying, because there are some there's some dialogue in there that's a little bit too on the nose, that I think if you just show rather than tell, it would come off a lot stronger. For example, there was one line that said, "Oh, you know how my mom is." It was, lines like that are too on the nose, that how can you show that rather than saying, "Yeah, my mom's homophobic," things like that.
I got you.
Cool. And then, this is like a little bit of a left field idea, so feel free to disregard, but it's just something I want to throw in kind of the mix of things as you're thinking about things. One thing that was interesting to me was when Nina was like, your mom didn't know anything. Like, seeing that interaction, if that's something that interests you as a writer, could be interesting in terms of, especially because from my understanding, Nina does not have a relationship with her mom, or at least not a good one. So having, like, with this idea of family and acceptance, like this kind of interaction where you see Luis with his mom and how he is not out. And then also, like, is there something to Nina being in that scene, feeling like a warmth of a family in some way? There was just something interesting there. I don't know if that's in your plan or where you want to go, but I'm throwing it out into the ether just to be out there if you feel like it.
Okay.
So I guess my other question is, do you have any questions or any things, particularly in the project, that you were like, is this working? How do I do this? Do I feel like this got there? Like part of this conversation is not just like top down, here's what I think you should do. It's like, how can I be helpful in some way? Like, what do we, like, what can I get here?
Yeah. What do you think was the weakest part of it overall?
I think I was waiting for that Amon Louise interaction in some way, and I didn't feel it. And here's the thing: that interaction can be, it doesn't have to be them getting together, being like, "Why didn't you text me? You're being a bitch," whatever. It can be they sit down and they're not talking to each other, and they just have a moment of like, "Do you want to get a milkshake? Sure, let's get a milkshake." Like, it can be quiet or it could be loud. It can be kind of whatever you want. And it's I mean, the fun thing is it's up to you and based on your experiences and how you feel about these characters to figure that out.
Okay.
Can I jump in
Does that
with
make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Brett? I just want to jump in real quickly, Brett, because I'm glad you came back to that. So originally, when we were trying to come up with the concept of this, the thought was I see how it comes off as Amon has abandoned Lewis, and then originally the thought behind it was a thing of it wasn't Amon's intent to actually abandon Lewis. It was more so like a struggle for him as far as how do I support him and not necessarily knowing what to say to him. Um, and then so it was like a thing of him basically going ghost, even though that's technically what happened. It wasn't like out of malicious intent or anything, but at the end, it was almost like him coming back and trying to pick up where they left off,
Gotcha.
which could definitely be problematic because he wasn't there when he needed him.
Sure.
But
I mean, it all depends, and obviously these characters have an importance a little bit beyond just the story in terms of being representative of things potentially. So I think that's a great point, and the key is how do you guys communicate that to the audience? Because as an audience member, I come away being like, he's kind of just like really ignoring him, and I don't have a really good insight why. So are there different ways you can have him, whether it's him writing out a text but not sending it, or him talking to somebody else? I mean, it depends how much you want to shift focus, right, from Lewis. So it's a great point. You can still do that. But it's all about thinking of the interesting, creative, low impact in terms of production. I always say whenever it's short film way of doing that.
yes, I have a follow-up question for you. So at the end, the way that it ends with Amon basically showing up to his door with these milkshakes, it's intended to almost be like a peace offering and to
Sure.
almost acknowledge that that he's been away. Also, it was kind of added there in a way of being like a cliffhanger, in a sense of nobody really knows where that's gonna go. Um, do you think now this could be a really poor cliffhanger, and that's what I'm trying to get to from you. Do you think that this is a poor cliffhanger, or I'm
It's
really like, hmm
no, it's a good question. It's difficult to say because you don't. Part of it's going to depend on how it's presented. One movie that I think might be shoot. I'm gonna find this reference. I can't find it right now. What movie? But there's forget it because I can't find it. That's not going to be useful to talk about. But I think it's how it's going to be presented. I think the issue with it being a cliffhanger is because they've had no interaction since, and I have no insight into Amon's thinking since that first scene. I truly am a little bit at sea in terms of like, okay, are they going to fight? Is he coming back? Is there going to be an acceptance? Is there not? And it's I think they need to be pointed a little bit more in one direction. And I think it's totally fine to have a cliffhanger ending like that, and have something where people are hanging out and you don't know how they're going to react to each other. I think it's interesting too, but I think I just need a little bit more, and a little kind of goes a long way.
If I could say something about it, yeah, the whole thing in about the Luis and Amon relationship, it was a little confusing because it did seem like he was kind of mad at him when he was not answering, but when he was getting out of the car, Amon at the beginning, he said like, "I got you," all this. I mean, if he was trying to ghost him like he didn't know how to handle it, that was pretty good. I mean, he kind of wrapped it right there, like, "You got you. You're my friend." And then he got cold feet later on. It just seemed a little strange, that one portion. Um, as far as the cliffhanger portion is concerned, to me, it almost seemed like it was wrapped up. Like they may have a talk. He'll explain, like, "Hey, this happened to me. Wasn't handling it well. My bad." So that should be a a little bit more poignant. I can't think of a better word than that, to be honest.
Cool. I found the movie I was talking about before. I was thinking about. It's called Big Night, and it's about these brothers played by Tony Shalhoub and Stanley Tucci in this Italian restaurant. And the movie's great. You can watch it, but if you just want to skip to the part that's like a little bit of a spiritual, potentially a spiritual kind of like comparison, is at the end the brothers have this giant fight, and it's a whole disaster of a night. And then they're chefs, and at the end they just make scrambled eggs for each other. And so if you just look at Big Night ending, if you Google that on YouTube, you'll see this kind of like scene where they don't talk and they just like do their business, and it's a really interesting way to end something where you're like, okay, I don't know if these characters are gonna like have a relationship, but there's something very fundamental about them having a relationship. If that makes sense. Let me see if I have any other things about it. I mean, do you, Marquis, do you have something you're like, what do you think was the weakest part? Do you have something that you think is the weakest part? Do you have something that you think is the strongest part that you're so excited to film? You know, there's also, you know, we haven't even talked about the actual ballroom stuff, which could be super, super fun to kind of have, you know?
Hearing it read out loud, I feel like maybe Nina's like long story. I don't know how necessary the background story for her is. How do you guys feel about that? Like when she's going about when she's talking about, you know, her struggle. I liked how you kind of summed it up when she just says, "I was born with HIV." Should I leave it there, or would you cut off her whole story?
I liked it.
Okay.
There may be a version of it that is shorter or simpler in terms of something. You know, like her being like born with it, and I grew up in like that small town, and then the best thing we did was move to Miami. You'll get a lot just from that little bit. You'll be like, okay, what did she get in her town? The other thing I was thinking of when I was listening to it was like, you know, she talked about the looks that people give her and stuff like that. I think that's like pretty potent in some ways too. Um, so, but again, I think actually like my one piece of advice going through this is like do the brutal cut where if you're like, what if I don't include this? Cut it out. And then just do that for everything and then see if you have anything left. Because sometimes I do that when I edit and I call it like, you know, you trim the fat. Sometimes I like trim the fat all the way into the bone and I'm like, this doesn't make any sense anymore. And I have to build it back up a little bit. But it's a useful exercise in terms of this kind of stuff. And I think you can like get right to it. And obviously Angelica might have some thoughts in terms of what she thinks is like, oh, here's the part that I want to do this. Here's the part that I want to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
One thing I also really liked was like when they're flirting with Louise, I thought that was very fun and funny and just felt like just a very like very human kind of like chatty kind of thing. And I love that stuff. So that was really effective for me.
Yeah, my favorite scene, well, the scene that I'm most excited for seeing is just the diagnosis scene. When he gets his confirmatory result, I feel like that scene is going to be really powerful.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's really cool. And talking about how you guys want to actually film that is like that's the whole fun. That's going to be actually really kind of a blast to figure out. Okay, how do we bring people into this thing because it's pretty heavy news, and how do you demonstrate that? Like the world shaking beneath his feet, all that kind of description. You're going to have to figure out ways to visualize that. You, me, Angelica. Cool. Well, I don't know if I have any other I just have kind of like little stray thoughts here and there, but I think I hit the big things here. Do you have any other questions for me or any other things or any other movies you are thinking about in terms of this or anything like that?
Not at the moment, no. I'm so grateful for the feedback.
No, it was super fun. I hope it's helpful. I mean, that's
No,
the main
it
thing. I hope
definitely
you're
is.
able
It
to
definitely is.
take it in.
Like, I know where I can cut back on some dialogue. You sound like my editor for my book that we're working on.
Ah,
So I get it. I get it. It's a
but
common
that's
thing. Show don't tell. You know.
yeah, and that's the
Yeah.
nature of workshopping, though. You have to like seeing it in an environment like this is like that's the benefit to be like, okay, where is it? Where can I cut back a little bit, or where can I combine things a little bit? Um, that's the whole thing. Angelica, any other thoughts in terms of like tackling this stuff?
I think we covered most of like the bare bones. If I have any other suggestions, then I'll email you, Marquise, some of my notes, and we can go from there. But I think I think this was very helpful for both of us. So thank you so much for all of your advice, Brett.
Cool. Yeah, hopefully it was helpful. All right. Well, I guess that's it for me.
Great. Thank you.
Thanks.
I have some questions for Marquise. Well, first of all, am I pronouncing your name correctly? Is your name pronounced Marquise?
Yeah, you're pronouncing it right.
Great. So, check if I'm reading this correctly. So I read, like, I feel like Luis and wait, is it Luis or Luis? Luis. Like, how is that character's name pronounced?
Well, it depends. It's both. There's an American pronunciation and then the Latin pronunciation.
Okay.
Mhm.
So for Luis, I was reading that he had like really good chemistry with Nina in a romantic sense. Like that's how I was reading them. But I know so I was reading Luis as bisexual or somewhere in the multi-gender attraction spectrum. But I know in the play there's like he's referred to as gay. So like how were you interpreting Luis?
Well, I was like given a direction to make it seem kind of romantic, so that was the goal. But I guess it's open for interpretation, because sexuality is a spectrum, so there could have been a romantic element there, but there's no definite
So
answer.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, because it seems like contradictory. Like if he's a
Mhm.
monosexual gay man, then he wouldn't be into
Mhm.
women. But like if he's like say bisexual, pansexual, then he would be also into women.
Mhm.
So like when he's like unless he's using gay as an umbrella term, because like because it only refers to him as gay. So I feel like either like there's some way we need to clarify that so it doesn't seem contradictory.
Yeah. Are you talking about the scene where they're like stuck outside and there's just like that lingering moment? I get how
It's still
or just like throughout the entire thing.
talking about the scenes between Nina and Luis. Or are you talking about when Luis says he's gay?
I'm talking about like what specific part gave you like the full on romantic element that might cause confusion.
Yeah, actually throughout it, like they have really good
Mhm.
chemistry. Like their interactions, like even the House of Warrior members, they noticed like, oh, you find yourself a butch queen, you wouldn't get the tea later. So they even we like our characters, we could
Mhm.
detect the
Mhm.
romantic chemistry between the two characters. So then like when it's like so I feel like honestly that's I think that's a really strong piece of the play. So it makes sense to say that example for him to say that he's bisexual, for example, instead of saying he's gay, and like that would help. That would like make more sense.
Mhm. What do you think, Shane?
I definitely understand what Rosen is saying. I think when me and Marquise was talking about this at the beginning, I really struggled with their relationship. I wanted to hint at a romantic attraction, but I wanted it to be very subtle, and at the end, it would not have turned out to be a romantic attraction at all. It would have more so been like a brother and sister type of relationship. So at the beginning, I guess the idea behind it was to have the audience feel that that's where it was going, but at the end, that's not at all what it was.
But also like naturally, if you see your friends talking to like this stranger, and they're obviously going to be like, "Oh, what are you guys doing?" That's how I was kind of like interpreting it as is like they're not directly in a romantic or going down that way, but to them it looks like, oh, who's this new guy? He's cute. What's going on with that? So I wanted to play around with that.
Other question. Huh?
Oh no. I was just making
ahead.
sure I was just making sure that answered your question.
Yeah, I think honestly, like if anything, it's the line that really throws it off is when he says like my it's bad enough they don't know I'm gay. That's like that line that kind of throws me off. Unless he's using gay as an umbrella term, because gay can be an umbrella term. But that's the line that like throws me off. Not his interactions with Nina, because like those are like like some of the best scenes. Like those are so cute.
I got you.
Yeah, and my other question was, I was also reading Nina as a trans woman because like the scenes like, oh, I'm surprised that your mom didn't clock me. So is that how she's written?
Yeah, she's a trans woman.
Okay, got it. And then I know Marcel's a trans man, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so yeah, so that was my other question because I don't really know too well the people, my fellow thespians, like who they are and like their demographics and like their identities. So I wasn't sure how much the casting was matching up based on like gender and race. And if it's not, because I know some people had dropped that also. So if it's like not matching up, if y'all like how important it is to whether to keep those identities being like represented, or if you're going to update the script to have the character's description match who's playing them.
No.
I think Shane,
No, go ahead, Marquis.
Oh no, I think their identities and everything else is going to stay because that was really important to Pride Lines, that we have, trans people playing the trans roles, because they deserve their moment. I don't know if Shane, you can add anything else.
No, absolutely that. When we were coming up with these characters, we made sure that we wanted to include a lot of people who aren't always shown in media. So it is important that we do actually cast trans individuals for those trans roles. And that's why if you go through the script, it's specific where it says that this person is actually Black, this person is Latinx, this person is trans. We do want to stick to that when it does come time for casting.
Okay, so this right now isn't. I know y'all had said that. So like this right now is like more or less so having people like reading the script, so we have like the reference point from each other, not necessarily reflecting the actual demographics of who's going to be in the film.
Correct.
Okay, I got it. And also, I want to ask Marquise, do you know Spanish?
I do not.
Okay, because that's one of the things. Because I was reading the script, it was like, oh yeah, it was like written in English, but they said like in Spanish. So there's any way that maybe somebody who does know Spanish could like write the lines in Spanish, because if you have the thespians like say it in Spanish, like you don't like, it's really up to their interpretation. It may not be very like consistent. Also do is putting like the responsibility on them to do the translation.
Yeah, so we were gonna leave it. I think we were gonna leave it open to the actor who speaks Spanish to say it how they would say it, so it comes off more naturally. So the Spanish-speaking parts that are in there are just kind of like placeholder, so they get a feel of what they should be saying.
So we can. I was going to ask for like for the thespians who have like Spanish-speaking roles. Are y'all comfortable doing that? Like just doing the translation like that?
Are you asking? You're asking us, the actors?
Yes.
I personally didn't mind at all because mine were pretty simple to translate, so I didn't mind.
As your host and narrator, I'm not generally in a position to give feedback, but I I do speak a great deal of Spanish in my life, my career. Our actors tonight did a phenomenal job, just translating. I do this for a living. I'll read in Spanish, say it in English, and vice versa. I really, Marcus, great to just say to whoever plays these roles to say it as you feel it, because everyone has their own tone, they have their own style. It depends on nationality. You know, there's such a rainbow of different things. I have 3 nationalities in my background. I can do all 3. You know, it's an attitude, really. So it's a good thing for you to keep that answer as far as, you know, how do you want them to sound, not being Latin. I think it's fabulous. So it's a really nice, it's a really elegant choice.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, are we ready? We're gonna
Let's
take
do
a
it.
photo, so everybody get ready. 1, 2, get on camera. Do it quick. You have a little bit of time.
Okay, everybody.
I see more people coming. Keep coming. We want more. We want more things on this. Exactly. I see my computer screen filling up. What's up? If you're still with us, friends, family, FilmGate members,
Driving.
special guests, get with it, because we're about to take a photo in 5. Beep. Get ready. Put your smile. Get the lighting angles. 4, 3, 2, 1. Great. I hope someone's Discording me to let me know that it was taken. Amazing. Confirmación. Fantastic. So once again, thank you, everyone. Thank you to our special guests, above all. Thank you to our writer, Mr. Higgins. It's been a pleasure. Thank you to our actors. It has been fabulous to have you on here. A few repeats for me as we get to know each other, you know what I mean? Can everyone hear me? Hear me well? Okay, good. Keep it going. Clap. This is not on tonight, but I love it so much. I'm so happy that I'm at my best friend's house doing this with you all, because he also sings. Anyway, big thank you. Thank you for staying with us as long as you have. I know we normally end a lot sooner, but the content was great. And if it creates this much dialogue, FilmGate is here for it. So keep it coming, keep it hot, keep it steamy, keep it creative. Thank you for being so responsive. Thank you all. Big shout out to Mr. Brett Wiener. I know that you're still on here. Sandro as well. I think he dropped off. Angelica. And I wish you all the best in your production. And Adriana does too, and the rest of the family at FilmGate. We have a very special Why the Drama coming up for our next session. The project is called Brilliant Perv. What begins as a traditional gaming story twists into something unexpected. If you have a scene or script that you'd like to submit, do so at info@film-gate.org. The subject, why the drama? You can put WTD, you can put why the drama, you can put a combo, whatever, we'll figure it out. But please write to us if you're interested. And if you'd like to participate as an actor, please send your reel and headshot to info@film-gate.org as well. We'd love to have new, different, exciting voices to join us, and that comes from all angles. You know what I mean? This is a very, I don't know. We bring a lot of talent into this. Why the drama? So just hit us up if you're interested, and join our Discord. Also, I just said that earlier. I was hoping to see like a message on Discord. It's great for what we do here, so we highly recommend that you join ours. We are creating a local community of filmmakers and artists to connect easier and to create together. You will see the QR code now. And here you can connect with members in the Floridian film industry. That's what we're here for, to connect people. You know what I mean? If you come to FilmGate and meet some awesome people and do some awesome things. And Heather, tidbit here, members will have exclusive access to special groups and workshops. To become a member, go to our website, filmgate.miami, and follow the prompts. As always, my name is Alexa Mendez. If you need to reach out to me for anything, please do. You can find me wherever it is. Through here, email, call, email info, say I want to talk to Alexa, just let me know. And we also have this like super, my favorite thing, art gallery. FilmGate has an art gallery. It is true. It's on Flagler, 129 East Flagler. Please come, let us know. You want an appointment? You want a private walkthrough? You want to talk to me? You want to talk to somebody else? Whatever. Hit us up. We're looking for volunteers. We need people to help us. I myself come from art. I will teach you a lot of things about being in an art gallery, but like a new cool art gallery, about a lot of other things. It's not traditional and it's unexpected. So that's why you want to be there. So I'm going to be a part of it because we're doing it. And if you're interested, like I said, I know that I'm talking a lot. But just email me, alexa@film-gate.org, or my co-pilot, Lucas, at film-gate.org. And if you want to hone your skills, and your career, you have a couple of opportunities to join some amazing events. Workshops. We have our Insert Legal Ninja Workshop. We have our Insert Young Actor Bootcamp, Unity 101, Headshot Day, and Film Festival. I will cut for time and not explain all of them, but the legal workshop is obviously about legal things and movies. The Actor Bootcamp is very obviously an actor bootcamp. Unity 101 does need a little explanation, and it's about creating VR and video games with our awesome and super loved family member, Jose. And tickets are in Eventbrite, and those are limited, so you're going to want to buy a ticket if you want to learn about VR, which also has something to do with the gallery, which also has something to do with, you know, just FilmGate and all of us. So, you know, look that up. We have a headshot day. A lot of people need photos for the grams. So hit us up for that. And obviously we have a monthly film festival. Our next is comedy for April. It's going to be Wednesday, April 28th. God, I just kicked the computer. Submit your film at our Film Freeway. The deadline is April 10. I'm going to say that one more time. Next month, comedy month. If you want to submit, Film Freeway, April 10. That's your deadline. I know people, you know, creatives, we like to work under pressure. So just make sure that you think about it, procrastinate, send it under pressure, or don't, or send it now, as I'm telling you. We love you all. Thank you again for being here. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Good night.